Alright, welcome back, nerds. We got another Texas Tuesday. This is another compilation of some of my old videos that I found on my cell phone. And while a lot of these videos I was never really planning on posting on YouTube, I figured since I am traveling for business this week, there will be no Fecked Up Friday this week. At least I'll give you some of these videos that I have on my phone because why the hell not share them? If I recorded them, why the fuck not share them? So, anyways, um, excuse the bad quality in filming. Like I said, I didn't have a tripod, I didn't have any of that stuff, and I'm trying to edit with. I can only do so much with editing. Let's just put it that way. Yeah. So, my bad. But anyways, as you can probably see on the map that was shown and from the title of the video, we're in the great metropolis of Muldoon, which I don't expect any of y'all to know where the fuck that is. It's actually near LaGrange, Texas, which is also small. So it's within the triangle between Houston and Austin and San Antonio, which, if you still aren't aware, that's in Texas. So if the Texas Tuesday didn't give the hint or the clue, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. But anyways, we are going to go through some of these videos. They were taken over various different months within, I think, 2023 and 2023, not 2024. I'd already moved to Florida by that point. But anyways, the point I was trying to make is these are older videos, but they're not too old. They're fairly recent, which you'll see in this next video is pretty neat because I actually got to capture a Southern Pacific. Wow, I just had a brain fart. Southern Pacific auto rack. That's the word I was looking for. Auto rack. Which a Southern Pacific auto rack with the speed lettering, and actually looked in pretty good shape for 2023 was and in my opinion, it's a good find. Maybe for you East Coasters, it may not be, but for those of us who grew up on the Western railroads, especially us people who remember SP and love it, it's passing. It's nice to see a auto rack with in fairly good shape, speed lettering again. And honestly, I did not know that this train was going to have it, so that was a nice surprise. And actually seeing this is what made me decide to go chase this train a little bit further. So anyways, I'll shut the fuck up now and let you watch these trains unadulterated with the sound on. Yeah, you're welcome. Yep, and this is the moment I decided that I'm chasing this motherfucker. Okay, now I'm gonna stop talking.
Southern Pacific.
Alright, so just to give you all a frame of reference, here's a map or a Google aerial view of the West Point interlock. So the line that the BNSF train is running on is the north and south former SP line, which is now owned by UP. And then it's going to take the curve in the lower right-hand corner and take an easterly approach onto the former Katy line, which is also now owned by the UP. So UP owns both lines, but you do see a lot of BNSF because they have trackers rights, and I do think they take a lot of the coal loads through LaGrange and onto the lower Colorado River authorities power plant in Fayetteville. So here you can see the auto rack taking that leg, and then our next clip will show the train coming through LaGrange. Okay, so now we're back in Muldoon for another coal train. This is a northbound coal train. And for those of you who watched the first Texas Tuesday video, where I concentrated mainly on the Flatonia, Texas interlock, this train just came from there. It is now heading northbound through Muldoon. A lot of times they'll have them stop on the sidings for crew changes or meets, and then they'll proceed northbound to the West Point interlock, which is about 10 miles north of here. And that Flatonia interlock is, I believe, is about 10 miles south of here. So this is kind of the halfway point between both interlocks.
No, this would be going towards. No, it depends what. Well, this is going north, so depending on when it gets to West Point, to the interlock, it may go to Smithville, it may not. I don't know. It's not coming from Smithville though.
Alright, hold up. Check out this guy's nose job. You think he's an H1, but apparently he's identifying as H3. Probably got into many fights with the local automobile populace, or trucks, or maybe even hit another train. Or probably the likely cause he got drunk and fell off the rails. It messed up his face, so they had to replace it with a new one. And so now he's got himself an H3 logo, Mr. Frankenstein. All right, you heard the music. It's over. Get to stepping. Get.